don't have a job where I have to put on a uniform and leave my wife and our son that's coming in Thanksgiving and wonder if I'm going to get back home safely. But these gentlemen certainly do. And I think we need to champion the guys and gals that are a part of the department and do a much better job in this community of doing it. We're going to humanize, we're going to localize, and we're going to personalize this department. And we're going to do it with the focus point of showing everyone in this community that they are one of us. They are absolutely one of us. This interview was put together by the fabulous Kate Kaminsky. She's the executive director of the foundation. She is also on set. I encourage the community to get involved with the show and ask questions. I will only ask questions that embody the golden rule and a mentality of respect. No other question will be relayed on air if it doesn't follow that mindset. We'll welcome NBC 29 to the show. We got a couple of newspapers on the show here. We see some radio stations. Crozet, Virginia, welcome to the broadcast. Downtown Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Afton, Greenwood, hello and welcome to the show. We got Keswick on the broadcast, friends in Lynchburg, Arlington, McLean on the broadcast, some folks in Georgia on the show. Give it a like, give it a share, grab your coffee, your lunch, and let's get to know a department that's making this community undoubtedly better. Judah Wickower is our esteemed director, the North Star of our equipment. We would be lost without him guiding the ship. My friend, we can rock and roll when you're ready, sir. Guys, good Wednesday afternoon. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille show. Thank you kindly for joining us. Our audience is Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Central Virginia, Commonwealth Country, and worldwide today on the I Love CVille network. And I'm super excited for today's show as we humanize, localize, and personalize the Albemarle County Police Department and its foundation. We have officers on set. We have the executive director of the Police Foundation on set as well. Today's program is an opportunity for you, the community, you, the fine folks of Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Central Virginia, and beyond, to get to know officers and get a glimpse of what their day-to-day life is like. I mentioned in starting this program that you and I have jobs that do not require us to put our quality of life, our health, or our lives on the line. But these folks certainly do. I am beyond frustrated, and that's putting it lightly, of a mentality in this community that is marginalizing people on the police force. I'm not going to stand for it, and if you watch the program, you know I don't stand for it for very long, okay? These are folks that live in the community, work in the community, support the community, folks we see at the farmer's market, the grocery store, and restaurants where we like to shop, and they deserve the kind of respect that we give doctors, surgeons, lawyers, bankers, you name it. Judah Wickower is the director. Let's go to the studio camera and let's welcome to the program. We have Joe George on set. We have Andy Muncie on set and the fabulous Kate Kaminsky, the executive director of the Albemarle County Police Foundation on set as well. We're going to go Kate first because she made this interview possible. The show is yours, Kate Kaminsky. Introduce yourself to everybody that's watching the program.
Hi there, good afternoon. Thank you for having us on today. So I am Kate, I am the Executive Director of the Albemarle County Police Foundation, and we wholeheartedly support Albemarle County Police Department. Our reason to exist is to support the department. So I echo what you said, Jerry, about the community and supporting our officers and the dangers that they face on a daily basis. I also think we're fortunate to live in a community that largely is supportive of Albemarle County Police Department. We work with individuals and businesses throughout the community that are supportive of our department. So we're grateful for that.
Well said. Great start to today's program. Let's go to Mr. Joe George. I like this guy's personality. I like his charm. I can already tell he's an outgoing guy. The show is yours, Joe George. Before we talk nitty-gritty, introduce yourself to everybody that's watching the program.
So, I'm Joe George. I am one of our crime prevention specialists at the Albemarle County Police Department. It's just a fancy title for it's an office job. I've been in law enforcement for over 10 years. And I came down here. I initially worked up in New York as a sheriff's deputy outside of Buffalo, and then moved down here about 10 years ago, and been working with Albemarle County since I moved here.
Absolutely fantastic. Andy Muncie, the program is yours. Introduce yourself to everybody that's watching.
Great, I appreciate that, Jerry. Thank you. Andy Muncie, I'm the lead recruiter for the Albemarle County Police Department. My main job is to try and get folks in here to do this job that it's hard to find people to do today. It's an ongoing process to try and recruit people, and but it's one of the most enjoying things I've done in my 26 years of police work, because I get to take somebody from the start of their journey into police work and get them all the way to the point where they're out on the street doing the job. So that's very satisfying seeing that person progress from a new hire to a seasoned police officer. So I really enjoy the job I do.
Let's put in perspective the process, the flip book of starting in the department, rising through the department, earning stripes, earning promotions, serving the community. How does that process work?
Well, it all starts with going to our website, which is www.albemarle.org/police, and putting your application, and that's where it all starts. Once we receive your application, we're going to call and set up a testing process for you, okay? The first step of the testing process will be a physical agility test, which is basically an obstacle course. So if you come out and you successfully complete that, then we're going to send you off to a panel interview, okay? Once you pass the panel interview, and each one of these steps is a progression, okay? You have to pass the first step to get to the second step, to the third step, and so forth. Once you do the interview, we're going to send you a personal history statement, which is basically your life history, all your jobs you've done, your references, anything you've done throughout your life, you're going to put out on a piece of paper. And then we're going to look at that piece of paper to make sure you meet all the qualifications, you don't have any disqualifications that will kick you out of the process. If you pass the personal history statement portion, you will then go to a polygraph, which everybody knows is a lie detector test. And we look at your polygraph, we look at your personal history statement, compare the two to make sure they match up. You're telling us the same thing on both sets of the test. Successfully complete the polygraph, we'll bring you in for a conditional offer. You're going to sit down with our command staff. It's going to be an informal interview with them one-on-one. They'll get to know you, you'll get to know them a little bit. And successfully pass the conditional offer, we're going to send you out for a psychological evaluation, a medical, physical, and then the last step will be the final offer with the chief of police. So it is a lengthy process. It does take upwards of 3 to 4 months to get through the process, but we like to vet our officers very well to know that we're getting good qualified people to serve the community that we live in.
Fantastic answer. Johnny Ornalis is watching the program. He owns Guadalajara and El Mariachi. He's giving you some props. Kevin Yancey and Waynesboro is giving all three of you guys some significant props on the show. There are so many in this community that love and stand by the blue. I would love to highlight this, though, with you, Joe. Talk to us about the dynamic in the community when it comes to support for the department, for people giving you props, having you back. And we also have to talk about some of the challenges you face as well in the department. The show is yours.
Well, obviously, we're all humans, so not everyone's going to like us, but it's always our job to maintain just the professionalism. And as long as we're on the right side of the law and we're doing things correctly, then there shouldn't be a problem at the end of the day with anything. And I think I'm very grateful to be working for Albemarle County Police Department, because overwhelmingly, I've had some really positive reactions with people, whether it's a traffic stop or an arrest that I've made, or just something as simple as one of our great community events that we put together. So overall, this is a great community to serve, and it's pretty supportive.
Fantastic answer. Kate Lucas is giving you guys some props. Scott Williams, Philip Dow, Katie Pearl, all giving you guys some love right now. Let's get Kate in the mix right here. The role of the Police Foundation. I think a lot of folks may not know that a police foundation even exists.
Yes.
We're going to now shine maybe the biggest spotlight in the community on the Albemarle County Police Foundation. Show's yours.
Thank you. Yes, that's one of our biggest challenges is visibility. And a lot of people don't know there is a police foundation. I wanted to say one thing. Andy was, or Officer Muncie was going through the process, the hiring process, and the lengthy process is because they get the best candidates. I mean, we really have the highest standards, and so they don't want to compromise that even during these tough times of finding officers. So that's something the foundation promotes when we're talking to the community community to let them know about the high-quality officers that we do have serving in Albemarle County. And then the foundation does everything we can to support that, whether it's helping with a recruiting fair by providing things they can hand out, or whether it's offering scholarships to officers or rental assistance or home purchase program to help recruit and retain the best officers possible. In addition, and Joe alluded to this, that there are community events that we partner with ACPD on to host, and those, and Joe even mentioned this, when they're out and about at other events, these children will come up to them and they're just so happy to see the officers that they knew from these other circumstances. So it's really great. Then we're able to partner with them to host those community events and help build those relationships between the police and community, which are so important.
I love the community events. My wife and I, we have a 4.5-year-old, and we have a son due Thanksgiving. And we go to as many of the community events as possible, not just police related, but fire department related, EMT related. And our little boy, when he goes to these community events and he's able to get on a fire truck, or he's able to see a police motorcycle, or he's able to see an ambulance and get in there and touch it, his eyes open as if he's seeing like real life superheroes. And I would love, and Officer Muncie, maybe you start with this topic here. I would love for you guys to spotlight the connection and how important it is to make this connection at the youth level when it comes to police, and setting a mindset moving forward.
Well, absolutely. I do a lot of these community events. I go out and recruit, and I talk to a lot of people, but, I do a lot of the events with the children as well. And, in my years of law enforcement, one of the worst things I think that really bugs me is when you see a child acting up in public and you're at a restaurant and they're acting up and the parent goes, "Hey, if you don't calm down, he's going to arrest you." Well, in my eye, that sets a bad view on police officers, and I'm always trying to make a point to go talk to the parents, go talk to the children. It's like, hey, that's not what we're here for, okay? We're here to help you because we want them to grow up to approach police officers for help. We don't want them to grow up to be scared of police officers. So, that's always something that kind of bugged me in my career. So, I try and put that positive outlook with children as to, hey, we're here to help you. We're here to communicate with you. If you have questions, please ask us questions. And just like you said, Jerry, the earlier we can get started with that, try and set a good mindset and have a good relationship with the public and with the children. So, throughout my career, I've done a lot of talks in high schools and stuff like that, a lot of driver safety talks and things like that. And, to apply with our police department, you have to be 21. But, I try and set that foundation or that relationship way before 21 because we want to build these people up to be like, hey, that might be something I'd like to do one day.
I love it. I'm going to give you some props on that. He's getting some props on the show here. Catherine Lochner watching the program. Philip Dow in Scottsville watching the program. Scott Aaronworth says, "Go blue. I back the blue." Philip Dow says in the feed, "It's a no-brainer to support these great people." Jennifer is watching the program. She says, "These are our local heroes in this community." Talk about the feedback that you're getting here, gentlemen. Talk about the respect and support and love you're getting right now from the community and what it means to you. Officer George, your thoughts on that?
Oh man, I love it. I want to see more of it. It's something that, again, it's something that we feel out when we're out there at these events, all the positive interactions that we have. But it's always nice to see it come up on social media too, because that's where a lot of people will use a platform to where they don't have to be nice because they're sitting behind a computer. And they'll
Keyboard muscles.
Right. They'll type something rude or whatever, and so it's nice to see these nice positive things.
Can we, and I highlight this all the time, and you know what, I'll be very straightforward here. I catch a lot of heat for my stance on backing you guys as hard as I do. It's a daily thing. And the heat I catch is from a loud, vocal, organized, very small minority on social media that is using keyboard muscles. Okay? And I have thick skin to handle it, but still it's present. Can you guys spotlight, you guys are human beings.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You guys are humans. I mean, it wears on you, does it not?
Oh,
Yeah.
it can, absolutely.
Can you highlight that?
Yeah. Like you, I have two 4-year-old boys. Well, you have one 4-year-old, but
You have twins?
I have twins.
Man.
Yeah, twin boys.
Those are
and,
superheroes.
I think their mother is a superhero.
I know. Same to you, Mrs. Miller.
But it's just it's hard sometimes to see this negativity and know that that's the world that our kids are growing up in. It's not like that. It wasn't like that when I was their age, when you were their age. So it's one of the harder things with the job is to see the negativity, see that so much hatred in the world just for people that you know nothing about. But it shows that it's more important than ever for us to make sure that we are still putting in the effort. We're professional, we're positive, and through that, we will show that we can be the example for the change that the community wants to see. Back to when you were saying, people the keyboard muscles.
Keyboard muscles.
I encourage anybody that has like a strong opposition to the way we do things, just learn more about how we do things. Take a ride along. Go up and talk to a police officer. Ask questions. There's nothing wrong with asking an officer questions. And like I said, I really encourage people to just take a ride along, see how we do things, and just inform yourself more.
Well said. Olivia Branch is watching the program. She's the Queen of Keswick. And the Queen of Keswick says we are fortunate to have leadership within the county from police on so many, many levels. More comments coming in for you guys that are positive. We will get to as many of these as humanly possible. The show is absolutely on fire right now. Officer Muncie, your thoughts on that topic here. You guys are human, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. We are human, and generally when we go to some place, we're going to a situation that's not a good situation, okay? People are not going to be in the best of moods, and just like you do, you have to have thick skin in this line of work, and that's something that we all understand. A lot of times people are venting, they're in a bad situation. Sometimes they just need somebody to listen to, so, empathy goes a long way in this job as well. You have to empathize with a lot of people's problems, the situations they're in. Sometimes they're in situations they have no control of. And, the empathy goes a long way. So always try and listen to somebody, and we're there to provide solutions. We can't always do that, but we try and provide the best solution for whatever situation they're in. So, being able to listen to somebody, know that most of the time it's not personal. They're just venting. They got a lot on their mind. They're upset, so you have to listen. So, that's one of the biggest things that can really help you in this job is the empathy and the listening.
Philip Dow says, I've been on a midnight ride before, and it was absolutely awesome. Jennifer says on the feed here, heroes on set right now. Lisa Costello says, I will be forever grateful for the Albemarle County Police Department and Police Officer B. Miller. Might as well say he saved my life. That's from Lisa Costello watching the program right now. I'm going to get to as many of these comments as possible. They're coming in fast and furious. For Kate Kaminsky from Scott Williams, who's watching the show. Kate, let's revisit the free kids night out idea for the Albemarle County Police Foundation. Literally watching the show. 4 media outlets watching you guys on this show right now. Kate, let's put the human connection and the outreach piece of the foundation into the spotlight here. In a lot of ways, your task is humanizing, localizing, and personalizing the department, managing the brand of the department, connecting with folks in the community on behalf of the department. Challenges and success stories that you've faced.
Yeah, well, visibility is a real challenge, as we said at the beginning. But I want to say something. They are heroes, and they're the most humble group. I mean, I get the privilege of seeing them regularly, and I've been on several ride-alongs and see what they do and see how it can go from somewhat mundane to incredibly scary and dangerous in about a millisecond. And they're the most humble group. I mean, they'll just keep doing what they're supposed to do with the highest level of professionalism. Never have I seen them waver away from that. And then they don't tell their story. So that's part of our job, is to tell the story of the great job and the excellent policing that we do have here in Albemarle County. So our biggest challenge is definitely the visibility and just getting the story out. A second challenge is the community, having the community engagement. COVID was a big problem, and we're sort of recovering from that. But one silver lining is we were able to create some different programs. So we couldn't have the big gatherings that we had in the past, but we were able to put together smaller gatherings. So we've had community conversations where we'll go into a neighborhood, or we went up to Westminster, Canterbury, the Blue Ridge. So just smaller settings, or homeowner associations have invited us out to their meetings. And so that's been a success because we do have to build those relationships. We do humanize these officers and putting them in opportunities that aren't law enforcement. You know, they're not enforcement actions, but they're there just to meet people and let the people know them. At our most recent community conversation, they were asking questions, you know, why did you want to become an officer? And just sometimes learning that background is so helpful and really, really humanizes them. But I can't speak highly enough of how amazing they really are and how much they do on a daily basis to serve this community.
Very well said. Let's spotlight this, Officer Muncy. Let's talk about vacancies. Let's talk about what we need, what you would like to see, what the department would like to see to fill these vacancies, and how we go about doing it.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we are currently authorized to staff 155 personnel. We stand about 142 right now, so we're down about 13 positions, okay? We've already done a process to send people to the next academy, which starts in January. So we're going to send 5 people to that academy, which will bring us up to about 147. We're trying to fill those other vacancies with certified police officers. So if there's any certified police officers out there who would like to come to our department, you know, we're always testing, we're always accepting applications for certified police officers. So, you know, go on our website. One of the biggest things we have going for us is our public safety pay scale. So if you're a certified officer and you have X amount of years of service with you, with the department you're with, we're not going to start you out at the bottom, okay? We want to pay you for your years of experience, which, you know, if you got 15 years in, just go to our website, look at our public safety pay scale, and you can come in starting pretty good money. What the public safety pay scale also does is it rewards people that stay with our department. I feel retention is pretty decent at our department. A lot of people come there and stay because they like it, you know, but right now, out there recruiting, all the recruiters are at these events I go to, other departments, and you know, it's like sharks in the water when you see somebody. Every department's trying to get that officer out there because we used to do testing sessions. We'd have 100, 150 people testing for 5 positions. Today we test, we get 30-ish people in for, you know, we'll take as many as get through the process basically at the time. So, you know, that's the big difference from, you know, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, to now is just getting those good qualified candidates in the door. So we're always looking for that, always looking for certified officers who would like to come to a great department.
Well said. Officer George, how about this one for you? This is from a mom that's watching in Keswick.
Okay.
She says, as a mom, I hear in the community about shootings. They seem to make the news more than the positive stories do. Can you offer some spotlight about this, or some attention or some information, not about shooting specifically, but what's about going on? Because it makes her worry quite a bit, she says. It's a good question.
It is. It's a really good question. I can certainly understand a lot of not just parents, but just regular, you know, citizens' concern about this. The shootings, there's a lot. There has been more this year than previous years. Absolutely making the news, bringing attention to it is going to, you know, heighten that fear that she has or other residents. But at the same time, this is still a very safe community. Those are isolated incidents for the most part. So there are so many positive things that go on every day within the community, within our department. And yeah, it's not popular a lot of times for the news to have the you know, the positive things.
These kind of stories.
No offense to our local news, I don't mean it like that, but you know what I mean. Like,
sure.
You watch the national news at night; it's not usually full of good news. So there's always good things that we're doing, and like for example, this just to plug the foundation and some of the events. We have the Simpson Park event coming up this Saturday. It got rained out the first time, so hopefully we'll have nice weather this weekend. And then trunk or treat event out in Crozet on the 27th on Thursday evening. So that'll be at Crozet Park. So like those are some good positive things going on. So we encourage everyone to come on out
and we have our annual Santa on Patrol will resume in December. So we'll go out a few nights in December, and officers will dress up as Santa and elves and,
And the Grinch,
tree.
unfortunately.
Yeah, and Joe is always the Grinch.
You're the Grinch?
You're
too nice to be the Grinch.
I've tried to get out of it.
How do you keep that smile from happening if you're
Well,
the
I
Grinch?
got the
He has a
mask.
Oh, he's
big,
got the mask on. Okay, that's how. You would be a you would be a great happy character from A Christmas Time. I just feel the
I would
positive.
rather do that. I don't
Right.
like wearing the whole Grinch thing.
I feel the positive
It's sweaty.
energy radiating here from you here. Gentlemen, let's talk about a topic that's been very prevalent, and it's school resource officers. So much respect for you guys that I'm just going to throw this question out as an open-ended question for you guys to go in any direction you want. I've said on the show so many times, it's paramount to get the school resource officers back in the school. This past Friday, we had a 12-year teacher, a math teacher at Albemarle High School. He retired before the start of this year, sat in that chair where Kate's at right now. And he retired because of safety concerns as a teacher at Albemarle High School. And he was a huge proponent on Friday's show of getting the school resource officers back in the hallways. Because he said right now, a lot of that is falling on the teacher's shoulders, and they're not prepared or have the experience to handle it. And many of them don't want to. And can you blame them, right? They're teachers, right?
I went to school to be a teacher,
Right.
actually. So.
Exactly. Cannot blame them. So school resource officers, open-ended question. Perhaps, and who wants to start with that?
I'd start with that if
Okay.
I could. So, as a father of two kids that are going to be into the Albemarle County Public Schools in a year or so, of course, security is always on my mind. But I will say, as far as having school resource officers, we've had some good school resource officers, and we've been able to build some good relationships with kids. I know me personally, I've never been a school resource officer, but I've worked with our Virginia Rules Camp and the school resource officers, and that's a great partnership between the schools and the police department. We did a few years ago. We haven't because of COVID, and then here we are now. But what a great opportunity it was, because we were able to build relationships with kids that didn't always come from the best situations, and it was really touching to me the one time when I was at a school to talk to a principal about something completely unrelated to any of the kids there. And I just mentioned one of the kids from our camp, and she said, "Oh, he's about having lunch right now." So I went and had lunch with the kid. Like, he recognized me right away, came up, gave me a big hug. And I've seen this kid so many times at some of our events, like the Santa on Patrol. And I obviously, I like the idea of having school resource officers because of security reasons. But, we're certainly open to, when the schools want us back in there, I'm sure that's a conversation that our department would have openly.
I think that was handled perfectly. That was handled so well right there. Gentlemen, why don't we talk about more success stories? Officer Muncie, let's get you in the mix here. How long have you been on the department?
I've got 26 years in.
26 years. That is
Yeah.
so impressive right there.
Yeah, 16 in another department that I've been here for 10 years. So the 10 years I've done in Albemarle have been great.
Talk to us about some of the more success stories that the community should hear about.
Well, one of the cool things now is that my supervisor, Sergeant Angela Jamerson, she was actually a school resource officer years back, and she was there long enough now to where she's seeing students she was SRO over, starting to apply for these police officers positions. So she's like, "I remember you when you were in 9th grade." And, it's a great success story when we see children that may have been going down the wrong path in school, not doing the right things, getting in trouble. And, that interaction she has with the kids, she kind of turned those kids around to, they're starting to apply to be police officers now. So just look at the influence that she has had on people just in that relationship. And I think all the SROs we had in the past had those great relationships like Joe talked about. It's building those relationships, letting the students get to know you, see that you're a human being, see you have issues and problems just like they do, and being able to relate to them. So, like I said, I think one of the biggest success stories is seeing those kids that have grown up, decided to come into this line of work, and, they're being successful this day doing this line of work.
Very nice. How about you? Success story.
There's
so many.
So many. It's funny that the biggest one that I always think of in my specific career was and it comes, I guess what I'm really going to highlight here is just our CIT program and mental health awareness, because for me, the one time when we were dealing with somebody that was in crisis and he had a firearm and he wanted to commit suicide, just the ability to be able to de-escalate the situation and talk him into seeking the treatment that he needed. That was, to me, like, when I think about success stories in my career, that's something that I'll always remember. I'll always remember that man. And it's, there's things like that that happen regularly with our officers. We have, I think, pretty much all of our officers have gone through the CIT program. It's just a good de-escalation, active listening, empathy. Those are the main points that it stresses.
This is a great question from Grayson, and Grayson is watching in Earlysville. Catherine, well, you know what, a follow-up question for Officer George from Catherine Lochner. She ran for the Albemarle County School Board. In fact, you have 2 school board members on the show watching you guys here.
Oh, great.
So for those that are watching, this is me talking. This is not them talking. This is me talking. Get the school resource officers back in the school, please. Get the school resource officers back in the school. She wants to know if all officers are CIT trained.
I don't know if we're at 100%, but I do know that it is a priority to get as many officers as we can CIT trained. So I would imagine, our officers that have been here for at least more than a couple of years have had the CIT training. It's sometimes hard to get everybody through because I believe there's only 3 or 4 slots per department per class, and there's 4 classes a year. So if we have, say, 6 people that come out of field training, you have to wait a few times to get everyone through. But like I said, pretty much the majority of everybody is.
A good question from Earlysville coming up for you guys. How did COVID change policing, or did it not change policing?
I'll address that one, Jerry. As far as COVID and recruiting, that put a big hurt on us because all these events and things that I usually go to and can meet face-to-face with people, and I'm more of a face-to-face person, interacting with somebody. I love talking to people, and that's part of my job, and I get that. But everything went virtual like we know about, so the virtual process with recruiting I felt was not very successful. It was hard to do just because you couldn't make those personal connections that you can make when you're out talking to somebody. So that kind of set the whole department back with recruiting. I think that's pretty much a nationwide thing during COVID, that all recruiting was kind of hindered a little bit due to the no in-person events going on and things like that. But, one thing that our department did really well during COVID is we have a great public information officer, great social media people in our department, and getting things out on social media has really helped with our recruiting, and that has been a big, big plus with what we do. So, during COVID, social media, virtual stuff, we did the best we could. It's just not as good as getting out there and interacting with people.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 viewers who have all put at the same time, get the school resource officers back in the school. The teachers are saying it, the community is saying it. It's time for some action when it comes to that topic. That's me talking. I'm emphasizing that. That is me talking right here. Let's get Kate in the mix. How about that's social media is a great segue. We have these in our hands constantly. In fact, this show is airing on every social media platform known to mankind. We're reaching more people than the TV news does. And the reason we do that is because we put it on these phones, on cell phones, on smartphones, and people can watch it anytime they want, whenever they want, as opposed to sitting on a couch in front of a box at 6 o'clock. Okay? It's not appointment television, it's at your leisure. Okay? How have you utilized social to raise awareness or to humanize the department or to get a call to action out for the community to see or read or hear?
We use our Facebook page primarily to advertise events, to promote good stories or the great work that our officers have been doing. So all of the things that you mentioned, we use our Facebook page for that. It's one of our weaknesses, frankly, that we probably need to cultivate a wider social media presence. Historically, our constituents, if you will, have not been heavy users of social media. Some of our donor base, or a lot of our donor base, historically wasn't on social media, but that certainly has changed recently. So we need to probably create Twitter and Instagram, but right now we primarily use the Facebook page.
How about this extremely challenging question, gentlemen? Are you ready for this one? Extremely challenging.
Bring it on, Jerry.
This is from Spencer. Who wins in a basketball game or a football game, the Albemarle County Police Department or the Albemarle County Fire Department?
Obviously, it's the police.
Obviously, the police department, Jerry.
I love it. Spencer, that was a great question here. Gentlemen, you guys are absolutely amazing. 40 minutes flies by when you guys
Has it
are
really
having
been 40
fun.
minutes?
It's 1:10 p.m. It's been 40 minutes. You guys are welcome back at this studio and this network absolutely anytime. Couple more questions here. Officer Muncie, I love your style over here. What is it you love about Albemarle County? Some specifics that you love about this community.
Well, that's interesting you should mention that. It's diversity, okay? And I use this when I go out recruiting people. You know, you go up on the northern end of our county, shops, restaurants, pretty much anything you want to get into, you have the opportunity to do that. But I always tell people, if you're like me and you like to run with the cows and horses and want to go to the southern end or the more rural area of our communities, you have the opportunity to do that. Go mountain biking, kayaking, whatever you like. There's so much to do in this county. And that's a great selling point for me when I try and recruit people to this county. It's just the opportunity to do a lot of things, live in a wonderful community that supports you. And our community does support us, and we really appreciate that.
Well said. Officer George,
Well, I can't remember the question. I'm sorry.
what do you love about Albemarle County?
So we moved here 10 years ago, and we talked about moving back to Buffalo area once my wife graduated, and she said, no way. So we've made this area our home. We absolutely love it here. We still get some seasons, not as much snow as I'd like in Buffalo, but beautiful weather all the time here, and the people are so friendly, and that's one thing that coming from up north, the southern hospitality, it's a real thing, man.
I love, one of my favorite things that you've said is you live in Albemarle, your kids are about to go into ACPS, you keep Albemarle County safe.
I'm completely invested here.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
that's my point. This guy is these guys are Albemarle County. They are Albemarle County.
And Jerry, that's part of why we have our housing program, is we do want the officers to live in the county and become vested. And it helps with not only recruitment, but retaining officers like Joe for a long time.
And I'm going to throw it to you what your favorite thing is. Before I do, you guys are going to love this comment from Greenwood, one of the thriving metropolises of a suburb of Crozet here. Greenwood is watching. Greenwood says this, the mayor of Greenwood, Kevin Higgins, it isn't often that you encounter people that have dedicated their lives to something bigger than themselves. These are extraordinary people that wake up every day knowing they are putting their lives on the line for us every single day. On behalf of my 2 children and 31 other children that I coach, I want to thank you for protecting us. You all are all heroes. That was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor.
that's well said.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Perfectly said.
Kevin Higgins, thank you for that. Kate, we'll close with you. Some of your favorite aspects.
Well, I think something they pointed out is something that a lot of the public doesn't know is Albemarle County is 720, is it 5 square miles? 723 square
700
miles?
something.
Which is 3,000 linear miles. And our officers every day are patrolling 3,000 linear miles. And as Andy was talking, you could be on the north side, you could be all the way down on the south side. Now, granted, they divide it up by sectors, but at any one time, there are only about 10 to 12 officers out there patrolling, and so it's a lot of work for them to cover the vastness of this beautiful county.
Yeah, and Kate, with that being said, get some application ins, guys. We'd like to see more people applying.
I love it. I
Be
love
the
it.
change you want to see.
I love it. I love it. Anything else we want to close with or highlight that did not have an opportunity to get on the microphones and cameras? The show is yours on anything.
Go
Well-
Bills.
Go Buffalo Bills fan over here. Josh Allen fan.
Oh, man.
Well, I would love to say, Jerry, again, thank you for having us on, and thank you for being such a great supporter. But as we come into the holiday season, the foundation is doing a lot to support the officers, to support their morale and wellness during the holiday season. So if anybody is interested in learning more, they could go to our website, which is albemarlecountypolicefoundation.com. But we would love to have some help supporting them during the holiday season.
Please support them, guys. They're keeping us safe. I'm so grateful for you guys, professionally, for personally, what you guys do, for your time here on the show. Kate, I sincerely mean this. Anytime ever you want to utilize this platform for anything, Albemarle
you.
County Police Department, just let me know.
Thank you.
Promise. I sincerely mean
I
that.
appreciate it. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you kindly
Thank
for
you for
joining us on
having
the
us.
show.
Thank
We
you, Jared.
appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you. Judah, we'll go to the one shot here as we close the interview and get to some other business on the program. Thank you. Thank you very much. A lot we have to cover on the program, so I'll give you a highlight of what's in store for the show tomorrow. Lee Elberson is going to join us tomorrow on the show. He's the CEO of Claiborne Education. We will talk schools tomorrow with Lee Elberson, who's very much involved with all schools, guys. He is the CEO of Claiborne. We'll talk grading, we'll talk equitable grading, we'll talk de-leveling, and some of the challenges the schools are facing right now. Guys, I have entirely, for those that are watching the program, entirely too much respect for the Albemarle County Police Department on the show here to ask them about what was happening with this JV football team. I just wasn't going to do it on the show. Too much respect for them. I do have more news that I can relay to you about a hazing incident that certainly is rape. I've heard from considerably more parents in the last 24 hours. Considerably more parents. And one of the very concerning aspects that I heard last night was one of the players that were the perpetrators in that situation were allowed to play in a football game on the Saturday after the incident took place in the locker room. You heard me correctly. One of the athletes, perpetrators, culprits involved in this situation were allowed to play in a varsity football game the immediate Saturday following the incident. That's from multiple parents who sent me that. We are not going to stop covering this. We are not going to stop covering this. There is no other outlet in this community that has covered this crime. And that should concern the you-know-what out of you. It takes courage and fortitude and commitment and thick skin to cover something like this. Many of the parents of athletes on the junior varsity football team have asked me to convey this message to you, the community. They have asked us for empathy for the many players not involved in this. These parents have said, Jerry, please relay to the community that not all the players were involved, and please don't allow our children to be scarlet lettered or stigmatized by this crime. All the parents that have reached out to me anonymously through direct message, text message, email, voice notes, FaceTime, they have all acknowledged that this was rape and a crime that should be pursued to the fullest extent of the law. However, they have asked us to convey to you that not all the children on the team represent these actions. And that's a point I wanted to relay. They have also asked for the community to hear this specific message. Canceling the entire season, JV the entire season, maybe is something that is being considered, but the parents of those not involved have begged for that not to happen because they said sports and this team are keeping their children, their boys, focused on school so they can play on game day and in practice. And these parents have asked the community and school leaders to not cancel the season because it is motivating their young men to focus and do well on school, and the fear is if the season's canceled, their performance will suffer in the classroom. I understand that position, Amanda Burns. Amanda Burns leaves this comment. Amanda Burns, it's a fair comment and it's something that should be considered. Amanda Burns says on the comment section, the entire program should be suspended until the investigation is completed. That's a fair comment. That's a fair comment. I got to be straightforward. That is a fair comment from Amanda Burns, who's a parent of a football player. Not on the Albemarle team, not a parent of the Albemarle team. That's a fair comment, Amanda Burns. The parents of the players not involved in this incident have asked for empathy for their sons because they, the entire team, are being scarlet lettered with the R word. With the R word. And the parents of the kids not involved have said, please pass along to the community that many, if not most of the kids, certainly most of the kids, were not involved in this crime. And then the parents have asked me to convey to you that this team and this sport is what is motivating their sons to focus and perform well in the classroom, and they fear if the season is canceled, their sons will lose that incentive to do well in class. And I explained to all the parents, many of them moms, in fact, 95% of the people that are reaching out to me are moms. It just shows, man, certainly with my family, it just shows you that the moms, when it comes to the family unit, are just like the rock and the foundation of everything. I mean, it is. And I'm not trying to marginalize any dads out there. I'm a dad. Our second son is due Thanksgiving. Our oldest is 4.5. But the rock and foundation and the North Star of our family is my wife. And she knows it, and I know she feels pressure because of it. And she rises to the challenge every single day, just like so many of the moms that are watching this program right now. I'm really concerned here. Really, really concerned here that the Albemarle County Public School System is making moves to potentially minimize as much legal exposure as possible. Really concerned here about that. I'm really concerned here that the Albemarle County Public School System is about to use one or two people on the coaching staff of the JV team as the fall guys here. And you know how a lot of these situations end up having one or two people as fall guys that are thrown to the wolves as a publicity stunt. And I think that's being discussed. And I said yesterday, the family, the mom and dad, the parents of the young man who was raped, Lawyer up. Get an attorney right now. And I suggested Mickey Hamlet. And today, I was reached out by 3 people, partners within the Mickey Hamlet law firm, 1 via text and 2 via email, thanking me for mentioning their law firm, Mickey Hamlet. That's who I would start with. And I'll give you another piece of advice. The JV football coaches, you should lawyer up immediately. If you're a junior varsity football coach at Albemarle High School, a head coach or an assistant coach, you better get a lawyer, and you better get a lawyer very, very fast. Because I think you're about to become the fall guy here, or the fall men, for what's going down. Lawyer up. Heck, if I was the athletic director of Albemarle High School, or the principal of Albemarle High School, or the head varsity football coach at Albemarle High School, or any kind of coach associated with the football program at all, I would lawyer up. Take it a step further. If you're a parent and your kid in any capacity shared this video on social media, I would lawyer up because your kid shared child pornography, violent child pornography. You better lawyer up. And moms and dads that are watching this program, and a lot of you guys do, you better talk to your sons tonight if you haven't already, and you look at them in the eye and you sit down and you say, son, did you see this video on Snapchat or TikTok? And then the follow-up question should be, son, did you share this video on Snapchat or TikTok? You better get a straight answer on that. Because if the answer is yes to any of those questions, you may want to lawyer up. Certainly if you shared it. Carol Thorpe, I agree 100% with that comment. Carol Thorpe is the queen of Jack Jewett, and Carol, you are a voice of common sense. 99.9% of the stuff Carol Thorpe says, I agree with. She says, Carol Thorpe, Albemarle County Public Schools will need to reassure the public that every student has been identified and suspended from JV games going forward for the rest of the players to be able to play and for the season to continue. I'll take it a step further. Dr. Matthew Haas, you bet, sir, Dr. Matthew Haas, sir, I would go on record, and I would go on record really, really soon, and I would reassure or explain to the community, here's what we are doing. Because this is the worst kept secret in Central Virginia. The worst kept secret in Central Virginia. And currently I'm having parents in Central Virginia asking me to get this story in the hands of national media outlets. And I thought about that, and I've been thinking about it for 24 hours. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do that. I'll use this platform for it, but I'm not going to take this content and I'm not going to put it in the national media outlets that we're connected to from previous working environments. I'm not going to do it. Scott Aaronworth is a lawyer. He's watching the show. He says everybody that saw this or was involved could be charged with a crime. And he says, keep your mouth shut in all capital letters. And I would imagine he's going to say an attorney to lawyer up as well. In fact, we have multiple attorneys that are watching the program right now that are literally saying, lawyer up, great advice. And is this not a concern here? Here's a concern that I also have. Does it not concern you that you have not read about this in the newspaper? Does it not concern you that you have not seen or heard this on the TV stations or the radio stations? Are you listening to me right now and nodding your head yes and saying, absolutely, Jerry? Why isn't there more coverage about this? You got so many different aspects to this story. You got a locker room rape. You got a locker room rape that was videoed, which from my standpoint, that's child pornography, then circulated, then the video went viral, then you got the element of whoever did the initial videoing of the rape. What is the charge heading for them? The crime they're a part of. The person who did the videoing. No doubt the object penetration, whoever initiated that was the number one culprits. The video of this was right thereafter, was certainly there on the next level of culpability, accountability, crime. The people around them that watched this happening, I think you got some culpability there. All those people better get a lawyer. You got the coaches that better get lawyers. You got the JV coaches who better get a lawyer. Because they weren't at the parent meeting from 2 nights ago at Albemarle High School. The JV coaches weren't there. That's a red flag that they're potentially fall guys. Right? You got the other coaches on the varsity team that better lawyer up. You got the athletic director that better lawyer up. Hell, I would even say the principal better lawyer up. You got the PR nightmare of the principal releasing an email on Sunday morning saying that the Crozet Gazette story was exaggerated. That email was sent a handful of days after the rape in the locker room. Why in God's name would you send that email a handful of days after this happened? Stupidity. Definition of crisis management done as absolutely poorly as humanly possible, that email from the principal. You got the Virginia High School League and whether they get involved in this, the governing body of athletics in the Commonwealth. You got the role of the police department. You got the role of the superintendent's office and what Dr. Haas and his cabinet should do with this. Have we heard anything from Dr. Haas, the superintendent of schools, about this on the record? We have not, Dr. Haas. You got the school board's role in this. What has the school board done? The school board is elected officials. They should be on top. They should be commenting on this. At least issuing some kind of press release from the school board that they're aware of the circumstances. Where is that press release? I mean, this is crisis management 101. This is literally what I do for a living. This is my job, how I make our living. What we do here on the I Love CVille network is not a top 5 revenue stream for this company. Crisis management and brand management is our top revenue stream. You got the fact that this story has not been in any other media outlet. It's not in TV, it's not in print, it's not in radio. Why is that? I can tell you why that is. Because the reporters that are in this area are young, and every 18 months they jump to a new market, a bigger market for a different job. So there's no institutional memory when it comes to reporting stories like this. So there's another layer to the onion. You got the legal exposure the school has, the school system has. You got the parents of the young man who was violated who should sue the school undoubtedly should sue the school. You also have the response of the school system and how they will challenge or not challenge the lawsuit from the parents. Good God, can you imagine if the Albemarle County Public School System tried to fight tooth and nail for dollars in a lawsuit with the parents? Geez, don't do that, ACPS. Figure out a number, settle this out of court, good Lord. Don't be idiots. See the forest through the trees, ACPS. If you try to fight this in court, that is a crisis and PR nightmare. You got the teachers and ACPS, Albemarle County Public School System, that were already depressed, demoralized, disturbed, disgusted, downright downtrodden because of work conditions, piss poor pay, and bad quality of life. Now they get arguably one of the most disturbing things that can humanly happen, possibly happen in a school system, happen in a locker room. I mean, this is the rung, Judah, right below a shooting at school. I mean, we could make an argument that this is on the same rung as someone who was shot but stayed alive in a school. Only thing above this is the murder of a student. This is literally on the same rung. It goes murder of a student, and then the rung right below it is school shooting, student stays alive, and this. Rape. Right? That's on the same rung. In fact, you can make a legitimate claim and argument that rape is on a more severe scale than a school shooting and the kid and the boy or the gal survive. Because the boy or the gal that survives the school shooting is heroic and is championed for their courage and for their ability to survive this shooting. Where the young man, especially being a boy, right? Boy or gal, I'm not even going to make a difference. Boy or gal being raped, that is like a scarlet letter. And these are the type of arguments an attorney will make in court from a payday argument standpoint. Why is the I Love Seville show the only outlet reporting this? Literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 moms literally just texted me, keep going, amen, thank you, keep this in the cycle, keep going, thank you, Jerry, be louder, your voice is valuable. Literally texting me during the show right now. Yeah. Sarah Hill Buchensky, who's a mom, great comment, Sarah Hill Buchensky. She says, any child who saw this video needs guidance on processing what they saw. Right? Dude, look, can we go to a 2-shot? I don't know if you don't have it set up. That's fine. Let me know when it's set up. No rush. Actually, you don't have the, yeah. All right. No, it's all right. Unless you set up a 2-shot. It's no need to, I'm putting you on the spot here. Sarah Hill Buchensky says, any kid who saw that video needs guidance on processing what they saw. We are taking for granted, the adults watching this show, we are taking for granted that we are adults when it comes to this story. We have the benefit of, I'm 41 years old, of 41 years on the planet, and I'm still having a really difficult time digesting and processing this, sleeping at night, and it's caused me like distress is the word. Imagine a 14-year-old. A 14-year-old. So let's not take that for granted. Scott Aaronworth of Aaronworth Law says if you get criminally charged, you keep your mouth shut, people, and you contact your lawyer. There's a criminal attorney right there giving some perspective. Sarah Hill Buchensky, a mom in Crozet, says, and there has been no communication from the school division about what they are doing going forward to ensure the safety of all students. Warrior AG is saying these are 13 and 14-year-old kids, man. Like, are we going to see a walkout? Are we going to see a walkout in ACPS of students and teachers and support staff? Albemarle County Public Schools, Albemarle County Public School teachers, Albemarle County Public School students. I'm talking to the students and the teachers of ACPS. Are you guys going to show a similar commitment to a walkout as the commitment that was shown by school systems when it came to the transgender topic? And I'm not making this about transgender, okay? But there was a walkout in support of transgender students. Is there going to be a walkout in support of a kid who got raped in a locker room? Albemarle County Public School students and teachers, are you not going to offer the same energy or support or commitment that you did for transgender students for a young man who was raped? Where's the walkout? This story is, I said last week, before I knew of the story, I said last week that Albemarle High School has turned into Michelle Pfeiffer's Dangerous Minds, the movie. You know, Coolio, his song, Dangerous Minds, was like the soundtrack of the movie. And that's before this. Multiple parents are saying on the feed, Jerry, you should make this national. I don't know, man. I don't think we should make this national. Yeah. Carol Thorpe, Queen of Jack Jewett. There could be another layer depending on the nationality and races of the victims and perpetrators involved. And Catherine, I agree. Lochner, I agree. She ran for school board, I agree. We need clear communication from the school board, and I'll add this, the superintendent's office. Dr. Matthew Haas, you watched the show. Here's a message to Dr. Matthew Haas, the superintendent of the school system. You are the #1 employed position in Albemarle County Public Schools. It's been over a week since this happened, Dr. Haas. Why have we not heard from you, Dr. Haas? Why have you not done anything from a communication standpoint, Dr. Haas? There's been no press release, and the whole, it's an ongoing investigation, so there's nothing we can say. That's a lame-ass excuse, dude. That's a lame-ass excuse, dude. Why haven't we heard from you? This is why you get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. Mark McKinney in Crozet says, certainly hypocrisy. He said the superintendent was quick to send out an email after the January 6 Capitol riots, but he cannot send an email out after a student has this happen to him. That's right. You know, you really find out about your leaders in hard times. It's easy to be a leader in easy times. You know when it's hard to be a leader? In hard times. Rough waters are truer tests of leadership. In calm waters, every ship has a good captain. I mean, the ultimate measure of a man or woman is not where that man or woman stands in moments of comfort or convenience or confidence, but where that man or woman stands at times of challenge and controversy. You know who said that? Martin Luther King. I'll give it to you again. The ultimate measure of a man or woman is not where that man or woman stands in moments of comfort or confidence or convenience, but where that man or woman stands at times of challenge and controversy. Martin Luther King Jr. My name is Jerry Miller. This is the I Love CVille show.